then we will allow the participants to make some comments or make some questions. So I'm going to allow myself to show a few slides and make some comments on the Vargas disaster in order to complement the presentation of Dr. Liñayo. So I'm going to start. Let me show the presentation. So the state of Vargas in northern Venezuela is located at the top of the South American continent. No? So as a consequence of extraordinary rainfall, this region was devastated by multiple landslides, flash floods, and debris flows in December 1999 that destroyed a number of towns settled in the canyons and alluvial fans of the mountains region, causing one of the worst natural disasters in the history of our country. No? So we see here the location of the state of Vargas in this small piece of land located between the mountain and the Caribbean Sea. No? The Vargas hydrometeorological event in 1999 was truly an extraordinary event that changed the geography of Vargas state. Millions of cubic meters of sediment came down from the mountain and were deposited downstream in the alluvial fans, destroying the populations settled in that territory. This is an episode that occurs on average once every 500 years. No? So we are not talking about a few landslides, but thousands of landslides were generated in the mountain, as we can see in this right picture. No? In about 25 basins, watershed along the coastal mountain range. No? Most of the damage were caused by sedimentation, by boulder impacts. We see here on the left picture a partial collapse of a building, and we can see here a boulder deposited on this. This is floor number 1, number 2, number 3. On the first floor, there was a boulder. So the height of the debris flow was about 7 meters in this basin. The coastline was displaced in some cases up to 200 meters towards the sea. No? In general, the ground increases elevation by approximately 3 meters in average due to the sedimentation process. In some valleys in the mountain, like Carmen de Ulla, erosion depths mounted up to 7 meters. No? We're looking here at the town of Carmen de Ulla. This is before the left picture, and the right picture is after the debris flow. No? And we look here at this yellow line, no? Indicating a sector in the Carmen de Ulla town that was devastated by the debris flows. No? Here, all of these houses were removed by the flows, were removed from the foundations, were transported downstream to the sea. No? We have here a close picture of this area. The erosion depth was 7 meters. This was full of houses. Well, there was an erosion depth in the order of 7 meters. The coastline also was displaced about 200 meters, no? into the sea. No? As a result of the disaster, government authorities began an intensive program to build control dams, check dams, and channel works in most of the basins to protect the downstream populated areas. No? In a period of 8 years, 63 sediment retention dams were built in about 25 streams. 25 streams were channeled, distributed in 25 basins. No? Different type of dams were built: open dams, window dams, deep dams, rake dams, and closed dams. Different materials such as concrete and gabion and steel were also used for the construction of the works. No? We see here the picture of some of the dams, check dams that were constructed in the rivers. We see here, to the left is a closed dam in Gabion. This is an open dam with the windows in Gabion also. To the right, you have a concrete dam with kind of a slit or slots, and also some dams in concrete with kind of break dams. No? This is a channel, concrete channel in the San Julian River. No? Well, the main purpose of the dam was to retain and filter the size of the sediment material load. So the idea is to trap the large material upstream and to trap the smaller sizes, the material downstream. The inspection and monitoring carried out on the dams in the following years has allowed us to improve knowledge of the erosion and sedimentation processes that have been generated in the riverbed as a consequence of the construction of the retention dams. We can see here in the pictures some of the processes that are taking place in the river channels. Here, sedimentation of this closed dam. This is a sedimented upstream closed dam in Gabion. This is sedimentation of the open dam. This is after construction. Less than 6 months later, the dam was totally full of sediment due to obstruction of the openings by the large amount of debris, woody debris, logs and trees that blocked the opening of the dams. No? But there are also another process very important, which is the bed erosion. Here we see to the right bed erosion at the foot of the dam in the order of 3 meters. And this is due to what we call the clear water effect or the hungry water, because the sediment is retained upstream, so the water coming down, flowing down, is the water without sediment. So this water is a hungry water. It wants to erode the material to satisfy its transport capacity. We see also here in other pictures the problem with the kind of lateral scour in the abutment due to piping, the piping phenomenon, and also the impact of rocks coming from the slope of the hill, collapse of this dam structure. So these experiences in the dams in Vargas constitute an example to follow and a guide to orient the actions to be taken in similar cases where debris flows have occurred. As was pointed out by Professor Liñayo, not only structural measures are required to protect the population, it has made clear over time that even the largest of such structures could not provide sustainable protection New efforts are needed for increasing the resilience of communities threatened by floods. The modern approach is a holistic or comprehensive approach which requires the joint application of structural and non-structural measures in order to minimize the foreseeable risk as a function of flood hazard and flood vulnerability. Non-structural measures involve the identification of danger, threat, or risk areas, and the preparation of hazard maps. These maps, complemented with vulnerability and risk studies, should lead to regulating land use in threatened areas and to the implementation of territorial planning plans. Another important aspect is the development and implementation of early warning systems. This requires the installation of a network of rainfall stations which must transmit in real time, complemented with a model of rainfall thresholds that allows warning signals to be given when the rain reaches predetermined critical values, either in intensity or duration. We're going to show an example in the next slide. No? Early warning system must be complemented with contingency plans and action protocols so that the population knows how to act and respond in the event of danger of flooding. The contingency plans must be prepared with the participation of the communities. For this purpose, education and training workshops must be organized in the topics of risk management, introducing basic concepts associated with hydrometeorological hazards, floods, and debris flows, and the measures and action. Key components of this integrated flood risk management approach are first, working in different temporal frames during the prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery phase. You show here in the chart these four factors in this temporal scheme: prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. Number two, working at different spatial scales from the very local, such as the construction of dams, levees, or river channels, to the global international level, such as climate-related policies. So we have to work in different spatial scales, no? From local to global. No? Number three, addressing different components of flood risk, such as to reduce the hazard, exposure, or vulnerability. So the idea is that in the past, the project was concentrated only in working in the structural measures. No? Now we have to work the structural and not the structural, hazard-oriented, exposure-oriented, and vulnerability-oriented. So this is number four, implementing structural and non-structural protection measures, as well as considering ecological impacts. Number five, the involvement of community stakeholders, in general stakeholders, is necessary to consider the different interests of actors in the entire river basin. The success of flood management depends on the engagement and participation of stakeholders. I'm showing here rainfall thresholds is a model for the initiation of debris flows. No? We show here a critical line which divides the safe zone to the left, no? From the danger zone to the right of the line. No? if we cross this line, we are going to be in danger. No? So the two indicators, so the two parameters are long-term in the horizontal axis and long-term accumulated rainfall in the order of 20 days. No, long-term is 20 days. Yeah. Here we have a short-term accumulated rainfall in the order of hours. This is 10 hours. So we developed this model using data analysis at past events in Vargas. No? So I'm going to show how the data of 1999 Vargas, how this is represented in this chart. But the main point is that this rainfall threshold is an important tool for the development of an early warning system. This is the main idea. Well, we show here the data points in the for the rainfall in December 1999 in Vargas. No? We apply this model. We plot the rainfall data day by day, and the day starting day one, the day 14, we get very close to the critical line, but then the rainfall stopped or was reduced, and we got away from the critical line. But we see here in the day number 15, we were just across the line, very in the danger zone, day 15. And we have to remember that the debris flows took place in December 16. So for December 15, we already were in the critical danger zone. So if we could have issued an alert and evacuation order in this day, we could have saved many lives. So this is the importance of this model, this we call rainfall threshold, for the implementation of early warning system. To finish with this idea, it's also important to implement flood modeling for the protection strategies. No? The purpose of this flood modeling to simulate the rainfall and the flood in the river channel and the urban zone is for mapping flood hazards under various scenarios. And also it's important for the design and sizing of protection measures, river channels, levees, control dams. So modeling of the process of flow of water and sediments is very important for these two purposes. And I'm going to finish with showing this illustration. Let's see if this works. Okay, we're looking at the simulation of a 100-year flood hydrograph in the Juan Diaz River in Panama. On the left side, we have the flooding of the area without the control works. No? So, and on the right side, we have the simulation of the flood hydrograph with the control works. The control works are these, it's a kind of a storage pond, storage lake pond, and we also have some dikes or levees protecting protecting the channel.
Excuse me, Jose Luis. Is there, since it's getting very late in Afghanistan, we have a curfew that we can't be on the street very late.
Okay.
So we wanted to know if we could. If we could have a short question and answers.
Yeah.
We would like to.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And we would like to have a copy of the presentation if that's possible.
Yes, for sure. No problem. So we open